the nonsense in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
What's up, San Diego? Welcome into Fan Fest 2026 here at Petco Park. Gwynn and Chris, only minus the half of Chris, who will join at 3 o'clock. It's just myself and Scravy, and it's a beautiful July 31st, January 31st.
I was going to say July, man. It does feel like July out here.
That's why I'm thinking that. It's about 80 degrees right now. Most of the country experiencing some type of terrible cold. And here we are in San Diego experiencing, San Diego weather.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, the only time I realize that there's other weather outside is when I look on football or, right. Watch a football game or something like that. This is great.
100%. I mean, we are very blessed to get this type of weather year-round. Big day here so far. A lot of folks here celebrating and get a chance to see some of their favorite Padres. We've had autographs. We've had Q&As. Out in Gallagher Square. I believe there's another one that just recently finished with Don and Mud.
Oh, that's a popular one.
Who I got to see today. My brothers for the next, 9 months, basically.
Yes.
Scraven, how's your day going? You just kind of arrived, didn't you?
I did. It's been great. This weather is perfect for Fan Fest, and it gets me ready for baseball. It's so nice to see everybody out here, and I was talking to people walking in, and they're telling me how much fun they've had, how many players they've met. But you did a Q&A earlier, you said?
Yes, we had Eric Grupner, we had new manager Craig Stammen, and we also had general manager AJ Preller on the stage, and just kind of touched on, some of the things that have been going on for Stam. Obviously, what were the priorities of the team going into the first year of spring training? His staff, how he was able to kind of put together some of the old faces we know, a la Ruben Niebla, Ben Fritz, and some of the new faces. Steven Souza is the hitting coach for the Padres this year. Randy Orr, who Stam had the privilege of playing under as a national. They all joined his staff, and we talked a little bit about really having to lean on those guys here early in the year. And for A.J. Preller, it's business as usual. He loses out on Dylan Cease, but is able to re-sign Michael King to a 3-year deal that really kind of solidified the rotation. It was looking kind of murky there for a little bit.
Yeah, it was looking murky. And by the way, we're supposed to have Jake Cronenworth here in the next 5 minutes or so, but I was reading some of the tweets that 97.3 The Fan put out, and Michael King mentioned that the opt-outs and that having the opt-outs in his contract were a big reason why he came back, because he was okay. Not a lot of teams, I guess, are okay with giving an opt-out after an injury year. So the Padres worked with him, and he came back. He said he always wanted to come back here, but see, that's what the Padres do, is they come to the people that they need, and they do what they need to do to get them.
They've created an environment that I think now players want to come here. They want to play here. It's not completely out of the ordinary for a guy to get here to San Diego, as Jake Cronenworth makes his way here to the stage and get a chance.
Everybody get up for Jake.
He's coming in with 3 bats. I see.
Thanks.
Jake Cronenworth joins us here at Fan Fest 2026. So let Jake get his headset on. Jake, how are you, my man?
Doing great. Yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Fan Fest in full effect.
Oh, yeah.
What time's your day start today?
Around noon.
Okay.
Oh,
you
yeah.
got a little late start today.
Yeah.
That's what being a vet now allows for. You get to come in at noon. How's the off season, man? You itching to get back on the field again?
Yeah. It's been really, really good. Working with the new coaching staff and everybody has been awesome, and made some really, really good progress on all sides of the ball. I'm just ready to get going. Now,
typically, you make your way back to the Midwest, spend some time there. Now, I think you spent a little more time out this year.
Yeah, a couple weeks, and no, it was great. I got to spend some time out here when we first hired the new staff, and get around them and get familiar, and kind of get things rolling early on in the offseason, which is awesome.
Before we get into the baseball stuff, I mean, you've had to experience probably one of the craziest winters in terms of weather. Out your way. Is it nice to come out and thaw out a little bit?
Yeah, this is perfect. It couldn't be any nicer right now. But I don't expect anything less coming out here. So
that's true. That's true. Okay, so you mentioned the new staff. This isn't the first time you've gone through the experience of a new staff. What's different? What's the same? How is the transition kind of gone?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the familiarity with Craig in the clubhouse. You know, obviously there's a few of us who played with him for quite a bit of time, and there's guys that have been around in the last few years as well in the role he was in and being around the clubhouse and on the road with us a few trips during the season. But, you know, it's been really, really good. I think you can ask any guy. There's nobody that anybody wants to play for more than him.
Yeah.
Live from Padres Fan Fest 2026, we're talking to Jake Cronenworth, and I'm curious about your off-season routine. When you get done with the season, how do you analyze your previous year, and how do you go about knowing what to tackle in the off-season to get better?
Yeah, you know, obviously every year, you know, is going to end differently, and you know, you hope it's at the end of November, but only one team can do that. So, you know, it ended so abruptly this year that, you know, it takes a while to get over it. We're all super passionate about, you know, this team and the city, and when it doesn't go your way, it hurts a lot. But you sit at home and reflect and try to get away for a little bit. But shoot, most of the time you just get bored and you get back in the gym and you start working out. I'm sure Tony can attest to that.
Do you watch baseball at all, or did you watch the World Series?
I do not watch any baseball after we're done playing.
Okay,
so.
I figured.
Yeah.
It's a full reset. You know, you've been in the league long enough now to have played with guys, watched them retire, watched them move into maybe a front office role, and I'm sure you see kind of the change as that happens. For you, you've had an experience of having a brand new manager that you have no experience with. You've had a manager that you've been able to kind of build with. Now you get a guy that, although he hasn't been your manager, he's been around. Is there a difference in those different phases or the different types of managers that you've had a chance to play for?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's unique in their own right. They all have good things. They all have flaws, just as we do as players. But, you know, I enjoy playing for each manager because it is a unique experience.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't like that and we had the same manager for the last 6 years, but, you know, the reality of the business is we didn't.
Yeah.
Talking to Jake Cronenworth here on 97.3 The Fan. And this year, have you had any discussions about where you're going to be playing, mostly second base? Have you had any of those discussions with the team to kind of get your mind right for the season?
I'm sure we'll have some more conversations here in the next few weeks once we get to Arizona. But I've prepared in that realm, in the defensive side, you know, pretty much the same through my career. You know, I know that, you know, I'll be playing some second, potentially some first base, maybe some shortstop. You know, wherever they need me that day, as you guys know, I'll be ready.
Typical Jake Cronenworth answer there. Jake
Best
Cronenworth.
ability is availability.
Jake Cronenworth joins us here. And Jake, you guys have reached the postseason in back-to-back seasons 4 of the last 6 years. Each of those have ended in different ways. It takes a lot out of you in those games. You mentioned how abruptly the season ended last year because it just didn't feel like it was going to end on that day. I don't know about you, how you guys felt about it, but it didn't feel like that. Is there a difference in how those stings last? I mean, you get all the way to the NLCS in 22, you come up short. You have the Dodgers on the ropes in 20, was it 23, 24. Kind of lose that one, and then it ends so abruptly. The feeling's the same. Is the sting the same in all of those?
Good question.
Yes and no. I think, you know, the 22 one was different because, you know, I think as a group, it was a very new group,
right.
First year Bob, and we exceeded everything, all expectations that we had as a group. And it was a great year, and it just didn't work out for us.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like we played great in that series, and, you know, they just ended up playing a little bit better and got the big hit when they needed it. The last 2 years have definitely stung a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think this group has been along together for a longer period of time, and to have it end so abruptly as we're talking about, it definitely hurts a lot more.
Let you get out on this one. What are you looking forward to most as you head into 2026?
Yeah. A little older, a little wiser, I hope. No, but I've, you know, come to find who I am as a player, and there's always something you can learn and get better at every single offseason. And I felt like this year I've probably done the best I ever have in my career. And I know I've probably said that last year and the year before, but I think that's the goal as a player. You know, you want to be saying that as spring training's approaching,
Right.
and to confidently say that, you know, I take tremendous pride in what I do, and I play my butt off. And I think that's, you know, what I'm really excited for.
I think that's what everybody knows you for too, my man. You play your butt off. You show up every day. I think folks here can count on you when you're in the lineup, man.
I appreciate
Good
that.
to see you. Appreciate you coming
I have
on.
a couple bats here.
Oh, look at this.
Oh.
Not that one.
Oh yeah, get that way away.
So, there's it is again.
Wow.
All right, I have 2 bats here for 2, hopefully young lucky fans that are aspiring baseball players who are currently playing. I don't know if I can choose it because I'll feel bad if I leave somebody out. So I'll let Tony take one of them.
Nice.
And then I think I see a young little girl over here.
Oh, very nice.
And there she is.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
thank you.
I just want to say we appreciate you guys so much coming out and supporting us, and it means the world that you guys show up every night and cheer us on. So go Padres.
Give it up for Jake Cronenworth, ladies and gentlemen.
That was awesome. I was like, when he came over, he was kind of giving me the bat. I was like, is it mine? No, what?
No, you don't get one, man. You don't get one.
I appreciate you guys.
No problem, man. Thank you for coming
Awesome.
on. Jake Cronenworth, everybody. Let's get our first break here on Gwynn and Chris. Jake Peavy is the next guest. Do you have a time for Jake yet?
It should be around 2:20,
right, so
right around there.
As soon as we come back from break, hopefully we have the Padre legend, Jake Peavy. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side. 6:15 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Matthew Scraby, Chris Ello, idle for now. He'll be here in the next 40 minutes.
I can just imagine Chris running up here sweating because he's coming from the Aztecs women's game that he's calling right now.
Who is currently up right now, 42-38.
Okay, close game.
Continuing their undefeated conference season so far.
Fortunately, the men lost this morning.
You know, I didn't get to watch it, obviously, because I was here.
Yeah.
But I was following it on my phone, and I kept seeing like an 8-point lead get shrunk to like 6.
Yeah.
Then it was 4, and then I stopped looking, and then I would pick my phone back up, and they had lost by 5 or 6, whatever it was.
Yeah, it just feels a little bit worse because we've been talking all week about how
they seem to be doing this.
Yeah. And then but a loss could bring them right back to where they started.
Yeah.
So not good.
It sounds like they didn't quite get the same type of offensive game from Miles Bird that they had got the previous game. You already were down 2 players in Harrington and Guap. So, unfortunately, the Aztec men go down. We are waiting for Padre legend Jake Peavy, who will be our next guest. Just got a chance to catch up with Jake Cronenworth. Always a thrill and fun to have a conversation with.
I think I learned from something from him every single year because he comes back from the off season with something new that he's trying to work on.
He's wiser.
That's a
he's
good way of
wiser
putting it.
every time we talk to him. It feels like.
Yeah, and it's nice to know that a lot of these guys stayed around here for the off season and worked out here. So
you know the cool thing about today's game and organizations, they kind of open up the stadium or the clubhouse to their guys. That hasn't always been the case. You know, guys typically found their way on their own, but the Padres have really done a really good job of making this place a place where players want to come and get their workouts in and really stay close to the community.
I did a bunch of number crunching earlier today, Tony.
I see this in the rundown.
Yes, there is a lot of numbers in there.
Lots and lots of numbers.
And really, when you're looking at replacing what they lost, they're not really replacing all that much. They're going to replace roughly 30. They need to replace roughly 32 home runs this year. You think Jackson Merrill, with his 115 games last year, is going to bring that number up? They don't really need that. They've lost 61 doubles, so they're in a good place offensively. They just need a DH and they need a first baseman.
Is that all they have to replace is homers?
No. They have doubles as well. I looked at, and no singles. I didn't look at the singles, but mainly what I took away from this is Luis Arraez is going to be a big loss in the double department because he had 30 last year. Jackson Merrill had 25 in 115 games last year. You think he's going to get, 35, 40 doubles maybe?
You're
picking up 15 right there.
I would love to believe that baseball works that way where, you play more games, your numbers go up, but it doesn't always work that way.
That is how it works, I thought.
In MLB The Show, it certainly can work like that.
Well, that's my experience with professional baseball is MLB The Show.
That makes total sense. What else we got going on? We got a big fight tonight.
Yes.
I believe Shakur Stevenson and Timo Lopez fighting each other tonight. So lots
good thing
of good
you
things.
Said it because I was going to struggle.
I knew you didn't know who was fighting.
I've seen all of the different push notifications about it, but we also got some big news in the NBA that.
Yeah, Paul George suspended for 25 games, according to the anti-drug kind of law they have in the NBA.
Okay.
So they don't call it PEDs like they do in baseball, but that's kind of what they're getting at here with this 25-game suspension. Now, 25 games, you might think to yourself, man, that's kind of light in baseball.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but you got to remember they only play 82 games. So 25
comparatively
comparative to 162.
It's a lot.
Same type of suspension.
Yeah. We also have the Farmers Insurance Open going on in town.
The boy
drove
Justin
by.
Rose.
He is just tearing up this golf course.
When I came to walk in, he had an 8-stroke lead kind of shrink to a 5-stroke lead.
He's back to an 8-stroke lead.
Okay, there
so
you go.
Through
there
14, Justin Rose is 21 under. 21 under. And that's with almost 2 rounds on the South course. It's amazing.
I'm sure they're enjoying the course with the weather being the way it is right now.
Again, why would they ever leave San Diego, the PGA Tour?
For those who may not know, the PGA Tour has, at least there has been conversation of the Farmers not being on the circuit of tournaments.
I'm not even allowing that to enter my mind because it would be so stupid to remove a tournament from San Diego, especially a tournament when you put it on TV and it's beautiful, and everybody around the country's like, hey, look at that.
You know what's
San
interesting
Diego.
about the Farmers? It's called the Farmers now, right? It hasn't always been called the Farmers, correct? Has it always been the Farmers?
No, it's been the Buick. It's been several other
So when
things.
it was the Buick, that was when it first came to my attention. I had no idea. I had no idea that there was even a tournament in California or in San Diego, right? So I remember when I first started my pro career, I was living down in PB, and just noticed there was always traffic headed that way around this time of year. And then once you figured out the Buick, at the time it was the Buick, how many people here in San Diego enjoy going to that tournament. It would be a shame indeed if they weren't able to do it. All right, Jake Peavy, about to join us.
Oh, there he is, right there.
Padre
Very
legend.
nice. Very
How you doing,
nice.
Jake? Good to see you, babe.
Hey, how's it going? We're gonna put you in this right here. You can sit if you want, or you can stand.
Hello, Jake. How are you, my friend?
I'm amazing, guys. I'm a little jacked up on this coffee. I had a little break after a signing session. I've been pounding coffee in the clubhouse, talking shop with the boys. It's an exciting time. Just left the skipper.
Okay.
And let's start there. I think we got the right man, Tony. I'm super excited about what Craig Stammen brings to the table. I think you heard the organization say this. Look, it hasn't been broken around here. We just haven't had the right mesh blend. Craig's a great human being. We've heard that from anybody who talks about him. We're looking out of that position to, you don't do as much coaching in that position as you think. You're just keeping the unit together.
Yeah.
And you're a lot of people's boss, but it's good to see
Yes, you
you
are.
boys, and it's great to see you fans.
Yes. Give it up for Jake Peavy.
Jake, I want to talk a little bit about yourself a little bit. I know you don't necessarily like doing that, but we're going to do it here for a second. You were special assistant there, Grouper. You had, unlike, everybody doesn't have the option to have different organizations that will welcome them back. You kind of opened that door for yourself, but you chose this place. Why did you choose this place to be the place that you wanted to represent?
Well, because this place raised me, Tony. Your father and Trevor Hoffman and the greats that were around was who we looked up to get to touch those boys and to be molded and shaped by them. Phil Nevins in that group. Ryan Klusko took care of me in a huge way. Ken Caminiti's, Andy Ashby's of the world. The first 8.5 years, that's, when you're cutting your teeth and who your foundation is. And then look, to go on, I played in 4 great cities, 4 years in Chicago. We couldn't beat the damn Tigers, but then went to Boston with an incredible group of outlaws.
And found a way to beat them at that point.
We did. And look, I stood up in the LCS and said, I owe these boys one. And Mike Napoli did the same thing when we got to St. Louis. Yeah. And when he was with that Texas team. But anyway, went to Boston and then San Francisco. And to have Buster Posey, a former catcher, running that organization, Chris Young, a stablemate, running the Texas team. We saw what he did with Bochy. And then Breslow, a former Padre, teammate of ours here and now in Boston, to have relationships with those guys and an opportunity, humbling, but this is where it's at. And to have the experiences of winning a world title and knowing what that was like, what it meant to the people, the community, the people who had passed on, and watching us go put jerseys on graves in Boston, nuts stuff. I want to be a part of that happening here, and that's the energy and spirit I'm showing up with. We're going to make it happen.
Talking to Jake Peavy here on 97.3 The Fan, and I want to know give it up for Jake. I want to know a little bit about your approach when you come back and you visit the players in the clubhouse. Are you someone who likes to give advice to everyone, or are you someone that waits for a player to come to you to give advice?
I'm certainly waiting for any of these players to come to me. The game has changed, but it's still the same. They've I'll be right to you, buddy. Sorry. Going to sign some autographs here in just a second.
Hold the autographs until we get done.
I have the hardest time doing 2 things at once.
Me too.
But no, look, I just love on the boys. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to walk in a clubhouse. And you sometimes, as a player, take that for granted. Yeah. And now just to be back around it and accept it, it's fun. We certainly get in the weeds and talk about how you hold your cutter when guys bring that to me. What I do is get to sit in on some of these coaches' meetings. I get to hear a lot of the chatter from the front office and what we believe. And then I got to infiltrate and love on the guys and slowly help push them in that direction that we think is going to make them better. So that's a lot of what I do.
Forming a relationship with them, too, helps as well.
That's really where I'm at with most of them. I know Xander very well from our time in Boston together. But other than that, I'm just forming relationships really with Manny and Toddy and some of the people really influence. Obviously, Joe and that pitching staff I've been a little bit closer with. Signing Michael King back, what a sign.
Yeah.
It tells you what we have built right here. And for this guy to stay out in the West Coast, being an East Coast boy, he believes that we can pull it off here. So getting to know those guys, but our position player group really has to take another step forward, as well as the pitching staff, if we're going to make this thing happen. And look, they're poised and ready.
You talked about how the game has changed but remains the same. In what ways do you see this game having changed from a pitching standpoint? And what ways do you see it still being the same?
Well, I'll tell you a huge part of it is, and we can get to the guys getting bigger, stronger, and throwing a little bit harder. And look, that is all happened. We're certainly reading it out of the hand. It's not quite as much of a gap and jump as we think. The game is as better and as talented as it's ever been. That box, Tony, putting that screen up there and having those boys have to throw that ball in the box for it to be a strike.
It's a different ball game.
It's a huge difference in what it has to be. And that's why stuff plays so much, because if you're going to throw it in that box, you better have some stuff, or you're going to get hit hard at this level. Just for out there listening, we were throwing it outside, 2 inches outside that box, and really harping on an umpire until he started giving it to me. And then it was going to be hell on the opposition. That's no longer. So you've got to have guys with this kind of stuff. You're really seeing, the max effort type deal. But I think we're also, I know in this organization, starting to put an emphasis on getting our starters some length. And how do you do that? And the last thing I'll say about the pitching philosophy today is you read a lot of the scouting report, and they don't let you do anything but go to that
scouting
right? If I was going to pitch 6 or 7 innings, I had to get you out some other way. One time with the heater, if the slider was the way to get you out.
Away from the scouting report.
Now, those first 2 at-bats, they're scouting report because it's hard to walk in there, and they're like, why'd you do that?
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely a different deal. Jake, we've held you long enough, man. We just wanted to come in.
I told you I was jacked up on coffee.
You are. I like it. It's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jake Peavy joining us. Jake, we appreciate
you guys so much.
Jake. Whoop, my bad.
Jake Peavy, once again, Padre legend. Getting a chance to hang out with him. Man, what a luxury it is for an organization to have guys like Jake, guys like Trevor that want to be around, and quite frankly, that the guys want around.
We got the camera right
there, my man. So it's a good thing for the organization to have guys like that around.
Of course, it always is a good thing for the organization. But you are on your way out.
Yes,
Sam Levitt doing the shift change.
Sam Levitt is in for relief here coming up.
I don't know where he went.
I don't know where he went, so I'll stay with you till he comes back. But yes, I'll be heading down to San Diego State for a dinner on the Diamond event down that way, doing a little hosting.
Man,
getting a little.
This is a day for you, right?
Getting my mud cat on and my John Orsillo on, who I saw today, by the way.
Yeah.
Always a gem to see those two gentlemen. Don was quite overdressed in long sleeves, and he's burning up. Yeah, he was quite hot.
Oh my goodness, it is like 85 degrees out here.
Exactly. All right, let's get to break. When we come back, Sam Levitt, Scraby.
We'll talk about his day.
Take over, and you get a chance to hear from Sam Levitt and how his day has gone on Gwynn and Chris.
He's off now. We got Sammy Lev. He is off now, or he is here now, and he is signing autographs. Even I got asked for an autograph, so that was kind of cool. Matt Scraby here with you, 97.3 The Fan. And we are here at FanFest 2026. A lot of people here. We got my fellow Matt over there. I won't say your middle name because okay. We got a lot of people coming over here to say hi. So if you want to come over and say hi, we are right near 113, section 113. And now we have our guy Sammy Lev on. Hello, Sam. How are you?
Hello to all the great people here at Petco Park and listening around San Diego. Matt Scraby, how's your day been?
It's been good. It's been really good. I mean, the weather's perfect. I brought a sweatshirt, and I shouldn't have brought a sweatshirt because it's a little warm. But this has been great. You've been here the whole day, right?
I have been. I've been here since 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Wow.
It's been a great day. It's been the early part of the day cruising around and seeing all the people on the field. They've got great activities. I don't know if you've talked about this. Great activities on the field. You can pitch in the bullpen. You can catch fly balls. You can run the bases. You can check out the grounds crew machinery. A lot of good stuff. Padres have done a great job here. The players have been super accessible. So it has been, I think, a very successful FanFest 2026.
Yes. You know what I feel is different from last year is that a lot of these guys ended up staying here for some of the offseason to work out together. And that for some reason, that's a big deal for me, that these guys want to be together, want to work out together and prepare.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of guys talked today and yesterday as well during the community tour, and I want to talk about that too because that was really cool.
Yes, I would like to hear about that.
To be on the tour yesterday. But I think, you hear guys talk about Camp 44 and what Joe Musgrove has put on the last few years. He did it last year, even though he was going to be out with the Tommy John surgery. And the opportunity for guys to get here early, work together, even position players are involved. Jake Cronenworth, Gavin Sheets, Fernando Tatis Jr., just to name a few that were working out with that group of pitchers during this week. So I think these guys take a lot of pride in being here and in being together. One thing we heard a lot today from players was just about the closeness of this group, and I do think that's a significant advantage for this team. And you're right, a lot of guys have been around San Diego at parts of this offseason and have worked out together, and hopefully that only means even better things for the Padres.
Yeah, tell me about this community tour, because I saw a bunch of pictures that the Padres put out, and I know that Fernando was out there. I know that a lot of other guys were out there, but tell me about that.
Yeah, it was great. I was on the route with the pitchers.
Oh, okay.
So I was with Michael King, Joe Musgrove, Nick Pivetta, Ty Adcock, and I might be forgetting somebody. Jason Adam. How could I forget Jason
how's
Adam?
He looking?
He looks great. According to people today, he's already thrown off a mound.
That's awesome.
So, we'll see kind of what his schedule ends up being. I'm sure once we get into spring training, we'll have a better idea of what his timetable looks like. I don't think that's going to be opening day. I'm speaking a little out of turn because who knows?
Go by opening day.
I mean, who knows? But he looks healthy to me. I haven't seen him throw, but he's walking around well. So obviously he's going to be a big part of this bullpen when he comes back. But the stop
to the community tour.
Yeah, the community tour. It was awesome. First, we went to Ralph Waldo Emerson Elementary School. I think that was in National City. Don't quote me on that. I put it in my GPS and just went, and then I very quickly left to the next stop. But I think that's National City. If anybody listening out there knows it's not National City,
don't hold it against them.
Don't hold it against me. But it was Emerson Elementary School, and that was awesome. Do you remember the Scholastic Book Fair?
Yes. With the magazine?
Has not changed a bit.
Really?
Has not changed a bit. So
how is that possible?
So the Padres helped the kids pick books at the book fair. Okay. And it was awesome. So they literally were walking around with the kids, taking books, saying, oh, how about this one? How about this one? Do you remember Captain Underpants?
Yes.
Okay. Still a huge book series.
What?
Yes. And a favorite amongst the kids. So
this is shocking to me.
That was pretty cool. Like Mason Miller was talking to me about that Captain Underpants, and I was like, I haven't thought about Captain Underpants in 25 years.
Seriously.
But that was really, really cool seeing them with the kids, and I saw one kid. I mean, he got really emotional meeting Joe Musgrove.
I mean,
was crying.
I understand it.
Yeah, I mean, it really was something. So you see how much it means to the kids, the Padres, the players yesterday did a great job with it. They really, really did. Patient with the kids and talking to them and smiles. And that was a lot of fun. The Scholastic Book Fair at Emerson Elementary. And then after that, we went to Merrill Gardens, which is a senior living facility.
Okay.
And that was
very
awesome.
important as well.
Yes, it was awesome. That was in Bankers Hill. It was just a great experience. You had fans that have been rooting for the Padres for 50, 60 years, with signs saying I was watching at Lane Field. I mean,
Wow.
It really was something. And I know for Joe Musgrove in particular, getting to talk to San Diegans that have been around for that really meant a lot to him as
Seriously.
a San Diego kid himself. And seeing all the guys interact with all those fans, it was kind of cool because we spent the first part of the day with elementary school kids, and then we spent the second part of the day with seniors. So it was, an interesting juxtaposition and kind of cool.
Yeah,
to kind of
both sides of life.
I mean, it was kind of.
I'm glad that they.
Cool. Yeah,
I'm glad that they included the senior.
No, it was awesome.
Because I never even thought
about it. It was
about
beautiful.
Yeah.
It really was beautiful. They had the place all decorated in Padres stuff, and you could just see how excited they were to have the guys there and talk to them. I mean, that was the thing. This was not a quick stop. They really sat down. You had Michael King, Joe Musgrove, Nick Pavetta, Jason Adam, Ty Adcock, really sitting. Mason Miller. I don't think I mentioned Mason aside from Captain Underpants. He was there as well. Really sitting down with these seniors and talking to them about baseball and life, and they had all kinds of questions for them. And I think a lot of the seniors were just amazed at the size of these guys.
I'm amazed by the size of these
You're
guys.
like, oh my goodness, these guys are big. So
yeah, Mason Miller's like what, 6'5", 6'6"?
Yeah,
he's a tall guy.
Yeah.
He's a tall guy.
It was really, really cool. Both stops, and I was lucky to see it and kind of tag along with the Padres for that part of the.
You didn't get to be
tour.
in the cool bus that the players were in.
I was not. I took my own car.
Okay. Well, yes, I guess that's probably more comfortable.
I followed the bus to the next stop, but I'm not. Scraby. I might be a little cool. I'm not that cool.
You're not cool enough to be in the players' bus yet.
No.
Let's talk about Joe for a second, because when I was prepping for the show, I was looking at how many innings they need to replace, how many strikeouts they need to replace. And Joe's going to cover a lot of that with Dylan Cease departing. But I've also, Craig Stammen said in early January, there's not going to be an innings limit with them. They're going to go by start, how he feels. So do you think that Joe Musgrove is going to be able to pitch 160 innings this year?
I mean, look, I think it's a hard question to answer because
it is. That's why I asked you.
It's probably going to depend on how Joe feels start to start, right?
Yeah.
Look, knowing Joe, I'm sure he is going to want to pitch as many innings as humanly possible, as he physically can. Now, I think another interesting part of this is assuming the Padres are in the postseason, you want Joe to be available for the postseason. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. I feel like when guys come back from an elbow surgery, typically there is some caution. I'm sure they will use some caution with Joe, but it's been a while since this surgery. He had a full season to rehab, and now a full off season to rehab, and he seems like he's in a really good physical and mental headspace. So I expect big things from Joe Musgrove. I don't know what that innings number is going to look like, and I do think you have to consider the postseason and how you make sure he's available when you need him most, and talk about a guy that has shined in the postseason before. Certainly Joe Musgrove fits that bill. So it'll be interesting. They're going to have to watch it a little bit, but knowing Joe, I'm sure he is going to want to throw as much as possible. This was a guy who, remember, was aiming to come back in the postseason last year.
Yes,
and just sort of.
I think he said NLCS if they made it there.
Who knows if they make it there? Maybe we see him, and so he's somebody who works his tail off. So we'll see. I think it's a hard question to answer right now, but I think especially early in the year, you're going to see them use some caution with Joe start to start.
Any rumors out there this morning about any guys that they're going to bring in? DH, first baseman, maybe a fifth starter?
Well, no, I wouldn't say rumors. I would say on the baseball side today, the two things that I thought were interesting. Number one, at least right now, and again, I say that with the caveat of right now because I'm just not convinced the Padres are done adding.
Yeah,
right?
no,
We've seen AJ Preller make moves well into spring training.
Yes.
It would make a lot of sense that there are more names brought in. Who those names are, I don't know. But at the current moment, it definitely seems like this is going to be Gavin Sheets' job to lose at first base.
Okay.
On a pretty everyday basis.
Okay.
Now, again, I say that with the caveat of they can make a move and bring in somebody to compete with him or take that first base job. And I'm not saying that Gavin's not going to get at-bats. I think he's going to get a lot of at-bats, but we're talking about mostly everyday first baseman, Gavin Sheets. And that appears to be, at least with their personnel right now, that appears to be sort of the plan, is to have Gavin play there and have him get regular at-bats as a first baseman. And Jake Cronenworth is very much preparing to play second base. So it looks like Jake's going to be at second, Gavin Sheets at first base. For now, we'll see how that transpires. AJ Preller talked about, potentially bringing in guys to compete with him or complement him. And obviously Gavin can also DH and play some outfield as well. So that was interesting. And on the Luis Camposano front, I mean, the way Craig Stammen talked today, I mean, it really seems like the plan is for Luis to be on this roster as one of their catchers, use him behind the plate. We talked about it, on your
Thursday,
show earlier this week. I think it's one of the really interesting parts of Craig Stammen coming in is seeing kind of how the attitude shifts to Luis Camposano, but it certainly seems like he is in their plans in a pretty significant way for 2026. So to me, on the baseball front, those were the two things today: Gavin Sheets,
that's interesting,
and Luis Camposano.
We have some audio from AJ Preller earlier today talking about Gavin Sheets. So let's hear from the Padres GM on what he is thinking about Mr. Sheets.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin was he was big for us last year. He's going to get a crack to to get at bats. I think it's going to be, again, it's competition. But in terms of like Gavin taking at bats, he's had a great off season. I think for him, we've kind of talked to him about, hey, here's where you're at. You put yourself kind of back on the map and real part of what we've done. But there's steps to be had to see can you make some more improvements. But he'll get that opportunity here, spring training into the season, to take on some of those at bats. And we'll probably look to add somebody that complements Gavin, competes with Gavin. But just again, like I think. I said to Kevin Acey yesterday or something that, we'll have somebody playing first base for us on opening day. So those won't be going into the camera well, and you'll be dodging them or whoever's in there. So we'll be okay, I think.
All right, that was AJ Preller talking about Gavin Sheets. I believe he's done, but either way, I think that's a good indication of where they're going, because we just talked about it yesterday on the show. Who are they going to put at first base? Is it going to be someone like Ty France for a couple $1 million, or is it going to be Gavin Sheets?
Yeah.
I think Gavin Sheets can handle it, and it's better than him playing left field, and you get his bat in there.
Yeah, look, again, I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out during spring training, and not just from a Gavin Sheets standpoint, but seeing who else they bring in.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm fully convinced at this moment that Gavin Sheets is like 100% going to be your everyday first baseman, just because you don't know who else they may bring in. And to me, that's a big question mark when you have AJ Preller at the helm and we see what they've done the last couple of years as far as signing guys during spring training. But at least, again, with the current 26, 40-man roster, it appears that Gavin's going to be given that opportunity. And look, he deserves that opportunity.
He does.
Because of the way he played last year. And I think the interesting thing with Gavin Sheets, just from an offensive standpoint, is what is the ceiling for Gavin? He's somebody who showed up at spring training last year, made significant changes in his swing, in his approach, saw immediate dividends during spring training, then starts the season, carries it into the season, ends up being a significant part of this team, ends up being a guy later on, once they make the trades, that is somebody you can bring off the bench and really have some power and obviously start as well. So I think for Gavin, what is his ceiling? Can he get even better? Can he elevate his game? Can he be a 25, dare I say 30-ish home run guy? He has the power to do it.
He's a lefty, Petco Porch.
Look, if the bottom line with Sheets is this: if he can play decent enough defense at first base and hit you 20-something home runs, that's more than a serviceable first baseman in this lineup. So I don't know that Gavin Sheets needs to be a whole lot more than what he was last year. If he plays to around that level, I really think you can get by with this lineup with Gavin Sheets kind of as your everyday first baseman. I do.
I agree with you. Last year he had 19 home runs, 71 RBIs. He had a on-base percentage 317, 429 slug, but they're projecting him this year to have 16 home runs. I don't believe that for 1 second. I think if he's going to be almost an everyday first baseman, he's going to get so many more bats, and he's been way better against left-handed pitchers here, specifically at the end of the year. So a full offseason with him knowing that he has that job, I like my chances with Gavin Sheets.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm looking at your projections here, Zips and Steamer. I mean, this is projecting him in the 120 games range,
which I think is more.
Well, I think if he's your everyday first baseman, it's going to be a little bit more than that. But it's probably somewhere around that number, unless he ends up being like your bona fide everyday guy at first base, which maybe he is. But again, I look at it. You could look at it in any scenario. If Gavin Sheets ends up having 20 or more home runs this coming season, to me, that is going to be a very, very successful Gavin Sheets season.
Yeah, Tony and I talked about this earlier, but they only have to replace, give or take, roughly 32 home runs from guys that have left the team from last year. Gavin Sheets had 19. He hits 25. There's 6. You got Jackson, who hits, I think he hit 16 last year. He hits his 25. There's an extra 9. I mean, they're not too far behind. They do need to find more power, though. They have to find more slugs for this year.
I think that's going to have to come from the guys that are already in that lineup and inside the clubhouse. Yeah, I mean, look, no matter what they do from this point forward throughout the rest of spring training from a signing standpoint, unless there's something big happening and they're going to go get somebody like an Eugenio Suarez, 30, 40 home runs is not just going to roll into that clubhouse. We can talk a little bit more about it after the break, but they're going to have to rely on their big guys. Let's talk about Jackson Merrill, too.
Let's talk about Jackson Merrill when we get back. Sammy Lev, Matt Scraby, here live at Petco Park for FanFest 2026. We'll be back shortly here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Bucky.
Joseph Musgrove in the building.
Give him a round of applause, everyone.
What's up? It's not a bad setup right here, huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. How you doing, Joe?
I feel great, man. Yeah, really good. Excited.
I heard you say on the stage today, 2 months away from throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
What are those 2 months going to be like for you?
A lot of patience, you know. I've been working really hard, man. Been really diligent with the rehab. The strengthening stuff has all been, right on par. I've kind of hit every checkpoint with ease, and that was something that was told to me early on. Is like, really give it the time that you need on the front end. You don't throw for 6 months regardless. So, don't try to go out and be a hero and get yourself throwing in 4 months. Just do all the rehab, hit all the checkpoints, and then maybe make up some time on the back end. Once I'm consistently throwing. So. Strength feels really good. It's just, getting the shoulder moving again and back in like certain ranges before I start playing catch.
For those who may not know, I don't think it was ever going to be in question whether Joe was going to attack his rehab the way he has already started to attack it. This is one of the most hard-working people I've ever been around. But this is new territory for you. Yeah. I mean, you are a guy who I consider well-educated on anything he's about to walk through.
Yeah.
What was your education like leading up to surgery? I know you must have talked to a billion people. You don't leave stones unturned.
Yeah.
What was that like, getting yourself prepared for this surgery?
Yeah, I got a notebook full of pages of conversations, phone calls, doctor visits. I vetted 3-4 different doctor options. Called everybody I knew that had Tommy John. Called guys that had it twice, and what the difference was the second time around compared to the first. So.
This is your first, correct?
My first one, yeah. So I feel like I've done, every bit of the homework that I could. I feel like I was as prepared and as, educated on, the process as possible. And now it's just, putting the lessons that I've learned from other people and their experiences, along with the feel and the trust that I have for myself.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here on 97.3 The Fan. And Joe, last year you called into our show. And
yeah, there we go.
You played a prank on me, and it was a really good prank because my heart stopped a beat for a second, and it still does. But I appreciate you doing that. This is the first time we've actually been able to talk about it.
A little locker room talk. It's all good, baby.
I told him, I told these folks that his eyes almost popped out of his head when Joe got on that phone.
Well, yeah, when I'm told I can't come into the clubhouse, it's a little concerning, considering, I'm not that crazy of a guy. But
no,
anyway.
You're good by us down there. You're welcome
good.
whenever.
All right. I just wanted to ask you about the mental side of things, because it's got to be hard knowing you're coming into the year you're not going to pitch.
Right.
But you still have to keep working. How do you stay in that zone?
I think, first off, it's a little bit of a relief. It's a chance to kind of step back from, the constant mentality and approach of like being on edge and getting ready and prepared, and just the stresses that, any ball player deals with on the day-to-day of like mechanics feeling out of whack, or as spring gets closer, maybe you haven't hit the checkpoints that you want to hit, or things aren't, as consistent as you like it to be. So not having to deal with those stresses has been super nice. I've been able to focus on life a little bit, got engaged, got a new home, made some moves. So it's been really good. And I think, once I had the surgery, I knew what was ahead of me and, how long the road was. And, it took a little while to get to a good headspace, but I feel like I'm in a great spot now. And, I was saying earlier out on the stage, I'm not claiming to be Superman, but I really believe in my ability to heal and, my ability to, to push my body and get it ready. So I'm preparing and shooting for a return in the postseason at some point. And if, we're a month away from that and I realize it's a long shot, I'm completely fine with, sitting out and, preparing for 26. But I keep myself busy, man. I've really tried to be an extension of the coaching staff and, provide, assistance and help and, experience and, things that help these younger guys and, some of our guys that are transitioning to a starting role, help their careers grow. So, keep myself busy and keeping tasks, to have, at my fingertips, things to work on has been a good relief for me.
Joseph Musgrove in the building.
Give him a round of applause, everyone.
What's up? It's not a bad setup right here, huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. How you doing, Joe?
I feel great, man. Yeah, really good. Excited.
I heard you say on the stage today, 2 months away from throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
What are those 2 months going to be like for you?
A lot of patience, I've been working really hard, man. Been really diligent with the rehab. The strengthening stuff has all been, right on par. I've kind of hit every checkpoint with ease. And that was something that was told to me early on is like, really give it the time that you need on the front end. You don't throw for 6 months regardless. So, don't try to go out and be a hero and get yourself throwing in 4 months. Just, do all the rehab, hit all the checkpoints, and then, maybe make up some time on the back end, once I'm consistent.
Chris is en route from his basketball game, so we'll see if he can get here on time. The traffic wasn't too bad when I came in here, so I know you showed up a lot earlier. Braden texted us earlier.
I had the wrong headset on. Hold on. I'm going to switch.
It panicked me real quick. It sent me back to Dylan Cease from last year when my headset didn't work. But
all right, now.
Anyway, Braden texted me this morning and was like, hey, you should get here early because they just closed the tailgate lot behind me.
Really?
And I'm like, what? Where am I going to park?
I'm not going to lie, I had prime parking.
Oh, yeah, you showed up at 9. All right, we're giving away the Xander Bogaerts signed baseball.
Xander Bogaerts
so you have to be here in order to win. Our first winner, Tommy.
Is there a last
Tommy
name?
Creamer.
Tommy Creamer?
With a K, yes.
Tommy, are you here?
All right, you have to be here, so we're going to need some more.
Tommy Creamer.
No, that's not. Okay. By the way, we're going to hear from Jackson Merrill in just a second once we give out this baseball. We're also going to hear from Sam about Jackson Merrill once we give out this baseball.
Here we go.
Trav Gundy. I know that name.
Gundy. Travis.
I know that name.
What's his?
Travis Gunderson.
Travis Gunderson.
I know that name. Travis.
For the Xander Bogaerts signed baseball.
Oh, man.
All right.
We got to keep
number
moving.
3.
We have a strong contingent here waiting, so we might have to go through everything. Stephanie Mojica.
Stephanie.
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
0 for 3.
We're going to be 0 for 95,
People missing
I swear. Let's go Robert Pearson.
Robert Pearson.
See, this is not.
What's
We're
going
not
on?
finding a winner because this has been open all day, and so we might be calling people from the morning. Marvin, we got a Marvin here.
Marvin.
We've got a Marvin here. Oh my goodness.
This is going well.
This is going swimmingly, Sam.
Grab my lemonade.
Jewel. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is getting crazy. We should have separated the entrance. I believe Hazel.
Hazel.
Can I get a Hazel? All right. Man, this would be Matt Scraby's way of giving out a baseball. Robert Garcia. There.
Hey!
Thank you, Robert.
Congratulations,
All right,
Robert.
finally, we got a winner.
All
Thank you
right.
to everybody
Is
who
that
stuck
the last
around.
one?
That's the last one.
Okay.
So that was the Xander Bogaerts
Sorry to everybody
baseball.
that didn't get one.
You got to stay around. You got to stay around if you want to win.
Oh, there's another one?
No. I mean,
Oh.
like, if you sign up for a baseball, you have to be here when we announce them for you to win.
Got it.
So,
Got it.
anyway, all right. Let me go back to my Kyle Ovenshire. Ovenshire.
Is that who's in the studio?
Yes, that is
Nice.
who's in the studio. He
Kyle
gave me
Ovenshire.
some quote.
Ovenshire.
I know, not Ovenshire.
It is Ovenshire.
Jackson Merrill, we're going to get your thoughts on him in just a second, but they did ask him an interesting question about managers, and he's had now, two managers in his 2 years in baseball? One, and then
getting ready to have
upcoming
two,
one.
yeah.
He was asked about manager consistency and why it's important.
Yeah, I mean, I think on any team, it's super helpful to have a consistent manager. I'm not going to dish Joe at all. I think he was a great guy to me, and I treated him with a lot of respect and treated the players with a lot of respect. I'm excited for Stammen. He's a player. He's played the game before. He's been in it, so it's cool to have someone with that experience. It'll be cool to see a consistent vibe throughout the year too. No ups and downs, kind of just the same mentality the whole year. It's just kind of an FU mentality. Let's go at them. Let's beat them. Let's take everything we got.
What do you think it would be like to have a manager that is so closely removed from?
Is he still? Oh, he's still talking. Never mind.
Be able to kind of connect you guys in the office.
I think it's awesome. I think the game has changed. I mean, I've only been in the league for a couple of years, as we said before, but it's obvious the game has changed over the past 10 years. So someone that's really close to being removed and kind of knows how it goes, knows how you're feeling, knows what players feel during the season. I think that's a lot of helpfulness. All of us are going to relate to him in more ways than we possibly think. And, he's the man. He likes to talk shit. He likes everything. Pardon my language, but that's how he is. So, only been around him for a couple weeks now here, but he's the man.
Did you jump it? Are we on the air? Okay. We're good. We're good.
On the air.
Jackson Merrill a little fired up here in his media earlier today, but I mean, Jackson can do whatever he wants. We're fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
So, Jackson Merrill,
Good to see
we're
you.
actually
Good to see you.
doing a show. We're going to be done here in about 5 minutes or 10 minutes if you guys want to wait around.
Cool.
So, Jackson Merrill is going to be coming into his third year.
Yes.
His second year, obviously, was a year that was tough. And his first year was awesome. So, what do you think we get in year three?
Well, I think for Jackson, look, obviously year one really couldn't have gone better. Year two was a weird year for him. He dealt with injuries. He also dealt with, I think, some of the natural ups and downs of a baseball season and a sophomore season. I thought he handled it really well. I think for Jackson, year three, healthy. That's the most important part, is staying healthy, not dealing with the kinds of things that he dealt with from a physical standpoint last year. With him, it's so interesting. He's going to be going into year three in the major leagues, and he's 22 years old. I mean, we forget how young this guy is.
Yeah.
He is younger right now than a lot of guys who have not made their debut in the major leagues yet. So,
That is
look,
true.
to me, expectations should be sky high for Jackson. He's that kind of player. He's a special player, and I think he's going to be great as long as he stays healthy. To me, that's going to be, based on last year, priority number one, staying healthy, staying on the field. As long as he's healthy, Scraby, I think Jackson's going to be terrific.
I 100% agree. And I've had people come up to me and be like, man, Jackson Merrill not as good as you thought he was going to be. And I'm like, if you look at his numbers, they're lower because he played about 40 games less than he did in 2025. In 2026, he's projected for 22 home runs, 79 RBIs. And the stolen bases, I'm wondering if he tries to steal more bases. Last year, he had the hamstring injury. He was out for a little bit anyway, so it wasn't something that they were willing to do. but I think that he could steal a lot of bases.
Yeah, I think he's somebody who can run. Look, what I love about Jackson is his confidence, his approach to the game, the way he handles himself. I mean, everybody in that clubhouse has said it many times over. He does not handle himself like a 21, 22-year-old. And it's been that way even going back to, when he was in the minor leagues. I mean, this has always been a guy that's been mature beyond his years. So I think he's got everything it takes to be great and have a great year 3. Again, I attribute last year and some of the struggles, to the health and not being healthy for parts of it, but also remember how stop and start his year was.
Totally.
Especially in the first half. I mean, it was such a stop and start year. And then you're also just dealing with the natural second year struggles.
Yes.
The league adjusts to you. You have to adjust back. And I have all the confidence in Jackson that he's going to have a really, really big year 3. Look, that outfield between Tatis, Merrill, and Laureano Scraby, they have the potential to be the best outfield in baseball. They do. Tatis is that special. Merrill is that special. And Laureano, if he has a year like he did in 2025, he's gonna be a big time contributor. So they have that kind of potential together. There's, to me, other than depth potential issues, from a starting standpoint, there are no questions to me about that outfield at all.
No, not at all. All right. Jackson Merrill was also asked. I wanted to ask Jake Cronenworth this, but I left it on the cutting room floor about what the Dodgers did in the offseason, because I'm sure he's been asked that a billion times. So I left it on the cutting room floor. But Jackson Merrill was asked about it and why, and he was asked why he doesn't focus on the Dodgers.
The Dodgers had one of their typical off-seasons, adding every all-star they possibly think of. When you see that, does that almost make you want to double down and be like, okay, it's going to be more fun to do now?
No, I don't really think anything about that. I don't think that should be the focus. I think the focus should be winning baseball games against every team. I don't think focusing on the Dodgers is going to help us win at all. I think you can focus on a certain team. When you get to play that team, you're going to tense up. You're not going to be the same team. You got to go into that series like we're playing anybody else. That's how it is. Everybody has a good baseball team nowadays. Nobody's bad. Pitching is good everywhere. So, they might have added a couple bats and stuff, but we got to go and we got to play hard. That's the only way we're going to beat them.
The Dodgers have another one of their typical off seasons, adding every all-star they can possibly.
I mean, that's the exact mindset I want him to have, and that's the exact mindset I thought he would have. Just in the 2 years that he's been here, we've learned that he is someone who doesn't make excuses, who faces things head on, and he's right. They can't worry about the other teams. They just got to worry about themselves.
They got to worry about them the 13 times they play them.
There you go.
Okay. Other than that, and look, that question got asked a handful of times today down there to the players. I mean, I don't know what their answer or any team's answer is supposed to be about what the Dodgers.
I want to hear them
done.
once say, "It stinks."
You know what?
It stinks.
Yeah. You know what? We're really what to me. What do you think they're going to say?
They're not going to say anything.
We're really scared of playing those guys. We don't know how we're going to compete with them. Look, the bottom line is the Padres have played the Dodgers very tough the last couple of years. If you look at 2024, I mean, and 2025, they were awfully close to winning this division. I mean, I will continue to say that had the Padres won the division last year, who knows how it all turns out.
Yeah.
Because to me, then you avoid going to Chicago. You play that Reds team in a wild card series instead of going on the road to play the Cubs. Look, I will always say about last year that not winning the division was a big deal because of the way it all ultimately shook out. Look, the Dodgers are going to do what they do, and they're going to win a lot of games, and they are going to be right in the thick of the top of the division. But to me, from a Padres standpoint, I think from a Padre fan standpoint, you focus on yourself. You focus on them the 13 times you play them. You hopefully are focusing on them when it comes to the end of the year, and you're hopefully in a division race with them. But, the Padres also have a lot of talent. And we've seen, it's the last couple of years, the Dodgers, you could certainly argue, I think, in 2024, were not the strongest, best team going into the postseason and found a way to win it. So if you want to use that as an example, it's not always about the amount of money you spend and what the roster looks like on paper. To me, this team should compete with them in the regular season and hopefully beyond. So we'll see. I would not worry about what the Dodgers are doing. And I genuinely, even though all the drama and the tension and the bench is clearing and some of the fireworks we had.
And Ohtani not tipping his cap.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really think that clubhouse does not worry about what the Dodgers are doing, and I do think that's also a function of it being a really veteran group and a group that's been around a while. And also, just one more thing on the Dodgers part, like there have been a lot of chapters to this, right? 22, they beat them. Then you have 24 happen in the postseason and coming down the stretch of the division last year. So I don't think you worry about them. Worry about them when you play them, and hopefully you're right there with them as far as winning the division.
Yes. I was just trying to figure out one thing, but I'm not going to be able to figure it out in time. So Sammy Lev here on 97.3 The Fan with Matt Scraby. Chris Ello is en route, so we'll see if he gets here on time.
Well, I will say one thing that's been very striking to me so far today.
What's that?
Yes, you have the players, you have the alumni, you have some of the broadcasters here.
Yeah.
But I think you've got the hottest autograph in the building.
I do not have
people are coming over asking Scraby to sign T-shirts, sign jerseys, sign food bowls.
Yeah, we did sign a food bowl. That was pretty awesome. I'm very flattered when people ask for my autograph because it doesn't happen.
They love you.
But signing a baseball
very hard
is not easy.
Yeah, the guys make it look very easy.
They do make it look very easy.
It's something I'm actually a little self-conscious about on two levels. Number one, I don't think I have the best signature. And number two, what really gets me, and this happens spring training here, whenever, somebody will come up to me with a baseball or a hat or whatever it might be, and I look at the hat or whatever it is, and there's like Manny Machado's autograph. They're like, "Can you sign this?" And I legitimately sometimes will look at, especially if it's a kid, to make them understand.
Like, really?
I'm like, you sure? I'm like, I don't play, right? And they're like, oh yeah. So I'm like, okay, here we go.
I know.
The value of that ball just went down.
A couple of years ago, someone asked me to sign a custom Randy Jones signed jersey next to Randy Jones's name, and I was like, I can't do it. I cannot sign your custom-made Randy Jones jersey. But he's like, I want everybody on the fan with Randy, and so we did. That's awesome.
Yeah, well,
it's flattering.
Sure.
I
mean, you just gotta roll with it.
I know what I was going to say. Back to the Dodgers real quick, and then we go to break.
Yes.
If Ryan Kirkring doesn't throw that ball away, we don't know what happens with the Dodgers in the NLDS.
I mean, they're still leading.
The series, but
you never know
if he doesn't throw that ball away.
So I wouldn't worry about him. I really wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
You play him when you play him. Worry about him then. And Padres, focus on your own thing.
That gentleman, the calm gentleman over here is Sammy Lev. I am Matt Scraby. This is Gwynn and Chris. We are live at Padres Fan Fest 2026. We'll be back shortly here on 97.3 The Fan.
97.
segments to go here on Gwynn and Chris live from Petco Park, Padres Fan Fest 2026. There's still a ton of people here trying to get some. I see a bunch of people running the bases. I see some people throwing the ball in the outfield, and we still got a lot of people walking around. So we also have the Chris portion of the show of Gwynn and Chris. Hello, Chris.
Thanks. I've been down on the field all day.
You have?
Oh, sure. Signing autographs and running the bases. So
you've been
finally
fly ball, signing autographs.
Right,
and running the bases.
I thought I'd finally come up and spend a little time with you, Scraby.
You didn't get your hammies running the bases?
I stretch, man.
Oh, you stretch.
I'm a good stretcher.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this looks so fun. I mean, what a nice thing that baseball teams are able to do for their fans.
Yeah.
And, Padre fans are, I think right there, we take a back seat, or people think we should take a back seat as fan base here. They talk, well, Philadelphia, New York, and the Dodger fan. This is the best atmosphere in baseball,
Agreed.
Right? That's what people say, Petco Park. So
I've been to many
I don't know why.
stadiums.
Yeah, I don't know why. And you think Padre fans, people think, well, we're kind of laid back. Well, we can't be that laid back, or we wouldn't have that good of a,
that's not true.
home field advantage.
Padres fans are rabid.
Yeah.
They want their baseball to be good baseball, and they
Sure.
want wins. But you're right. I mean, I feel like the East Coast teams are kind of just grandfathered in at this point.
Little bit.
Oh, yeah, they're tough fans. Because when was the last time people talked about the Mets fans being the toughest fans to deal with?
Well, they are the toughest to deal with because look, you and I do the radio show all the time. So we see, when the Padres lose, say, one in a row, people get upset.
Yes.
But I think we are still not anywhere near the negative, that you get on the East Coast.
No
right?
way.
The Phillies fans and the Mets fans. So I don't know that that's a great thing, right?
I don't want the negativity. These players don't want the negativity. They already know if they're slumping or whatever, they're playing poorly.
I mean, how about, I think of guys like Trey Turner when he went to Philadelphia and he slumped the first couple of months.
Yeah.
And they were booing the guy in his own stadium. And finally people came out and said, hey, let's try something different. Let's cheer the guy and see if we can't get him out of his slump. And then finally the fans, it did. But, that kind of stuff, it's hard enough to be a major league player and have your own fans booing you.
I agree.
So, anyway, these fans are some of the best, and, I don't think we get credit enough. So it's fun to have a day like this.
Real quick, Aztecs women's, that's where you were at. You're calling their game. What happened?
They won today. Again, they struggled. They didn't struggle. The other team played a solid game for 2.5 quarters. But then they, just put on the gas, pulled away 13 in a row. So good for them. I was listening to the end of the men's game on the way into the women's game. And, the thing that I look at in that game, and I watched a lot of it, I thought we outplayed Utah State for most of this game, but the last 4 minutes of the first half and the last 4 minutes of the second half, whether it was the altitude or you don't have Guath, you don't have Harrington. Reese Waters was sitting out because he hurt his ankle.
Yep.
And B.J. Davis fouled out. I think Compton either fouled out or had 4. My point being, we didn't have our depth. And I thought it showed in the last 4 minutes of each half, and Utah State was able to put on a couple of runs and, I kind of think steal the game. I thought that was when the guys were going to win. But
we're going to get back to the Padres in just a second. But the one thing Tony and I talked about earlier was they're already on that razor-thin line of making the tournament, and any loss at this point is going to hurt. Utah State's a good team.
It doesn't hurt a lot. I mean, going into Utah State, I think even the committee understands that's a tough assignment. So this was one they could afford to lose, but you're right. They can't. Hiccups are not going to be welcome down the stretch. And, I was upset at the officials, which I often am when I watch the Aztecs men play on the road. And, to me, one of the most important things in that entire game today was when Reese Waters went up for that jump shot right in front of the bench, and he landed on the foot of the Utah State player. Okay, that's a foul.
Is it?
Yes, you can't come underneath a guy when he lands.
I didn't see the play.
Well, I don't know if he purposely did it, but his foot was there, and Reese Waters landed on his foot. Now, to me,
what is the thought behind that rule? Like
you have to protect the shooter. The shooter has to be able to go up, and the shooter has to be able to come back down.
Fair enough.
Okay, so if you don't foul him, but then your foot's out and he lands on it, that is a foul, and they didn't call it. That should have been 3 free throws at a key part of the game. They were up 7, and then not only that, he got hurt.
Yeah.
So he's out for the next 6-7 minutes, and that's when Utah State came back. So, I'm always upset at stuff like that, but the other reason they lost the game was they got killed on the offensive glass. Too many opportunities for Utah State. So
unfortunate. We'll break that more down on Monday. But
yeah,
here at Padres Fan Fest, Petco Park 2026, I've been seeing, Chris, there's like an auction area here. There's a place where you can go buy different things. People are buying bases.
Yeah,
And
what is that? And the bases have the dates that they were used on the base.
So someone just
it's
came
kind
by.
of a neat
It's really
thing
cool
to have,
and
right?
You know why they're giving it away is because they're smaller now. These are the bases.
Oh,
that
they
were
don't need
before
these anymore
because they made the bases bigger, so they don't need these anymore.
They don't need these anymore.
So someone was saying that it was like listed at like $150, and they got it for less than $50. So they're bringing home
but
a
they're
base.
still getting $50 for something that they would otherwise just be throwing in a closet
it's a
somewhere.
game-used base.
I know, but I'm just saying, whoever owns the bases, those things have been sitting doing nothing for 2 years.
What you're saying?
Now they're getting $50 for them, but that is fair. I think that's a fair price.
It's a real
to get to take a major league
used base. You can't find that anywhere
The
else.
only other way you can get one is if you're Ricky Henderson and you steal
it.
And you go and you pick it up out of the ground and hold it up.
I stole it from someone, and I was like holding it above my head. It'll be the only time I get to steal a base.
A la Ricky, but
yeah,
no, that's a fun little
they got
token.
Bobbleheads for 25 cents from the past. So
really,
if you want to go get your bobbleheads, Chris, hit up the shop.
I'll get them for you because I know you're the bobblehead king.
I've got
you
a
love
lot
those.
of them. I do. I take a lot of them home.
I own. I'm a 2 bobblehead family.
Which bobbleheads?
I have, of course, the great Tony Gwynn senior bobblehead, which I display proudly. And I felt the Jackson Merrill one from last year deserved a place of distinction as well. Those are the only 2 I have. I'd probably get a Manning or Fernando, but every time they bring those into the studio, people like you steal them before I can get them. So
I knew that was going to happen. I cleared it with the boss man.
Yeah, I'm sure you cleared it
with the boss man.
Yeah, okay.
It's hard for me to get down from the studio to the stadium and get my bobblehead.
And if I come to the game on bobblehead night, invariably somebody we know will ask Lori to ask me to see if I can get them a bobblehead.
It's hard enough for us to get.
And of course, I always go, yeah, okay. And so I bring it home,
nice.
and then Lori takes it, and it's long gone.
You know what? And I'm going to expose myself to all my friends out there, but I always lie and say I can't do that. I can only do one.
You're not allowed to bring them.
I'm not allowed to bring them.
Well, I only get one. I just take it instead of keeping it for me. I always. Lori gives it to somebody.
Weak.
What? What is it weak?
Not for you.
Oh, you
for
think,
the person asking.
Well, it's just a reminder that I'm the nicer of the 2 guys between you and me, and people think it's the opposite, and it's just simply not true.
I would give a foul ball to a little kid. I would.
I did. Okay, I did that last year. Ask Sam Levitt. You remember that?
I saw it.
I threw it down there.
So my niceness campaign is not going well right now. All right. We're going to hit the break, Chris, and we got one final segment to go. We're going to hear from some of the earlier interviews that were on the station. We're going to hear from some of the press conferences, and we'll close it up from Petco Park here on 97.3 The Fan.
Renovate, restore, reimagine at the San Diego Home Improvement Expo, happening January 31st through February 1st at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Admission is free. Enjoy exclusive show deals and pricing where you can save hundreds, even thousands. Over 100 exhibitors offering top quality products and advice. There'll be design experts, licensed contractors, and members of the remodeling industry on site to answer all your questions. No matter where you are in your journey, you will find it all at the San Diego Home Improvement Expo. Why drive all over to get information and costs? Talk to the professionals who do this all year long. Save your time and money, improving, refreshing, or remodeling your home and outdoor surroundings. From the latest appliances to garden lighting, barbecues to security systems, baths to sunrooms, and more. You can find it all at the San Diego Home Improvement Expo. Admission is free. Save hundreds. Save thousands. 2 days only. January 31st through February 1st at the Del Mar Fairgrounds.
Have you been injured in a car or motorcycle accident? Padilla Law Group is the trusted San Diego injury law firm. Padilla Law Group is a father-son firm with more than 65 years of experience educating and advising clients of their rights and winning personal injury cases. PadillaLawGroup.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources,
final segment here on Gwynn and Chris, everybody from Padres Fan Fest at Petco Park 2026. I finally got some water. I have been parched.
You looked a little parched.
I'm
there.
very parched.
Yeah.
We're going to hear from Fernando here in this segment. We're also going to hear from Craig Stammen earlier today. But I just want to give a round of applause to our guy Kyle Ovenshire on the board back there.
Is that how you pronounce his name? That's the key.
Yeah, it's Ovenshire, right?
I know,
Kyle?
but
I'm
I mean,
pretty
you know.
sure. I get.
But he's the guy they called Ovenshire for almost an entire season last year, so I have to give him a hard time about that.
Yeah, you're always gonna get a hard time.
He's always going to get a hard time, but that means we like you, Kyle.
Yes, of course. And I'm bringing him up because he's been up since 5:30 in the morning working for 97.
Oh, he did all of these
He did
shows?
the fishing show this morning. He did all day.
Let's
Kyle,
wait a
I'm
minute.
giving you a round of applause.
Kyle, thank you, Kyle. Did Kyle play? Did you play the famous sounder where it goes? Zzz, hook 'em.
Kyle, you can jump on the mic if
Do
you
they
want.
still have that sounder,
yes,
Kyle?
I did.
Yeah, they've had that sounder for 35 years.
35 years.
I used to do sports updates for the fishing show. Way back when.
I mean, the fishing
At the
show,
old station.
The fishing show. We should really say that it's Let's Talk Hookup is the official
Right, Let's
name.
Talk Hookup. Yeah,
It's a legendary radio program.
It's
here in
legendary,
San
absolutely
Diego.
legendary. That's what I say. You know that the Pete's always been on there, but his co-host back in the day was a guy named Marty Milner.
Heard the name.
Okay, Marty Milner was a television star on an old show called Adam 12. Hey, you wouldn't know it, but you're not old enough. It was in the black and white days of like 60s TV. It was a cop show, and the two of them would ride around and, deal with disturbances.
Okay.
But Marty Milner was a co-host of the fishing Let's Talk Hookup back in the day, and here we are.
Wow.
Good for you, Kyle. That's that's important. I think you get that on a resume.
Oh,
You did the producing for the Let's Talk Hookup show.
There was a job I did earlier in my radio career, and it was a national show on Sunday mornings called the Jesus Christ Show.
Oh my
for
goodness!
a different radio station in town. So, I did everything I could to get behind the board, no matter what was being.
And
being
when
aired.
everybody asks us, how did you guys get started in the business? That's how. We did the Jesus Christ show. We did the Let's Talk Hookup. We played the sounder to hook up.
I did overnights as well. I was the 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. guy, which was really brutal, by the way.
9 to, that was a long night.
Last thing for you, Kyle. Have you learned anything about fishing working on the show?
Almost too much. Like when they talk about what they're doing, like I have no idea. I have to look up words and stuff. It's crazy.
You should have them take you. You should have them. Pete probably take you out one time. You probably have the best time you've ever had.
Yeah, my dad's a big old fishing
they're
fan.
good
He
guys.
listens to the Let's Talk Hookup show.
Of course.
All right, well, congratulations.
That is.
Thank you, Kyle. Not congratulations.
Let's Talk Hookup is the dean of all fishing shows in Southern California. I imagine in Minnesota they probably have like 30 of those.
They're like ice fishing
That's
shows.
like every show,
hunting shows.
But in
things
San
like
Diego,
that.
man, or in Southern California, right? Because the old 690 used to be all of Southern California. So Pete and Marty Milner, they were the authorities for everybody back then.
I kind of miss, or I kind of feel, oh my goodness. We got a life-size, who is that?
Dave Winfield
Yeah,
just
that's what I
came,
thought.
but it's not really him.
No,
but,
it's a life-size version of
and
Dave
that
Winfield.
is he was about 6'3", Dave Winfield.
Okay,
so that
is a life-size
pretty
version.
legit, yeah.
All right, let's get back to our Padres stuff. And we got one more, we got a couple clips to go with Fernando, who was speaking to the media earlier today, Craig Stammen speaking to the media earlier today. We were visited by Jake Cronenworth at Jake Peavy, but Fernando...
You only talked to people named Jake today?
Apparently so.
Apparently
so.
okay, that was
Jake Peavy was on fire. He was ready to go. I swear to you, he could have pitched if they needed him to pitch.
I bet.
But Fernando, he talked to the media, and one of the things that he was asked about was his slump last year, and to get a little insight on that slump. So here's what he had to say.
When you look back on last season, Fernando, what do you think some of the struggles were offensively for you?
Mechanical, more than anything else, but it was actually more about trusting a process that it was going in there. That I wish I can go into more details, but I definitely feel that's definitely behind us, and I know this year in the offensive side is going to be really special.
You said, I believe it was last year, that when your head's in the right place, you're second to none on the baseball field. Is your head in the right place this year?
It is, and looking forward to keep going as a player and as a man. And like I said, my best years are definitely ahead of me, and this year is going to be one of those. But there's no limit, and now is due to myself to show you guys that.
When you look back on last season, Fernando,
I appreciate that he said it's up to him to show it. He had a pretty good year, even with the slump last year. I mean,
I felt like
tough
he was. I felt like he was struggling all year, and then you looked up at the end of the year, and his numbers were pretty good.
Yeah, they were.
They weren't Hall of Fame numbers, maybe, but they were certainly legit enough numbers.
Well, Sam and I talked about it earlier. If he can hit his home runs, I mean, really the home runs, and I did a bunch of research earlier today, Chris. Padres have lost, give or take, one or two. 32 home runs from last season.
Okay, so they got to find those this year.
Which they're going to get. Jackson had 16 last year in 115 games. You think he's going to have more?
A couple more.
Gavin Sheets, we heard earlier today that he's likely going to be an everyday first baseman.
Okay.
So he's going to get a bunch of at-bats.
I bet you Song hits 35.
That was the other thing. In the article that I read, they were really banking on Song making a huge impact, but I can't go that far just yet.
Well, nobody can because and it's not fair, but we're comparing to what Hassan Kim struggled with.
Yeah, let me go see what he did his rookie year.
But, it's not fair. Song's a different player than Hassan Kim. He's a different guy.
He is.
Just because he played in the same league doesn't mean he'll put up the exact same statistics, so...
Kim, his rookie year, played 117 games, hit 202, 8 home runs. We all remember he struggled.
Of course he did. He couldn't hit a fastball. He couldn't catch up to it.
Yeah.
Once he did, then he was, legit the next year or two. But maybe Song will be, better prepared. So he's going to hit more than 8, I bet you Song does.
I would think so because he's not like a power hitter per se, but he did hit 25.
Now tell me what you heard. But when Gavin Sheets, this is an announcement here that we know
it's not like an announcement, but they're giving us a little. Kyle, is that in one of the clips? I know you gave me a couple Craig Stammen, but I haven't heard the entire thing. I believe that would be a part of the. Sorry, say that again.
He kind of talks about the.
All right, let's play that one. We're going to go to Craig Stammen, the manager of the Padres.
He briefly touches up on Song.
All right, here is what Craig Stammen said about the roster.
We have several guys that can play first base on our team right now. Right now, penciled in probably as our number one option is Gavin Sheets. Gavin's pretty excited about playing first base again. He played a lot of outfield last year, a little bit at first base, but played that coming up through the minor leagues. And we've got some great infield coaches, the position coaches that have been working with him already this offseason. Got him going, and we feel really good about a left-handed first baseman and him being able to do a few more things and being a really big target at first base. I know Manny and Xander are excited about that, being able to throw to somebody a little bigger, a little taller, maybe hopefully save them, a few overthrows. So along with him, we've got Will Wagner that can play first base. Sung Song, we're going to try over at first base. Obviously, Jake's played a lot of first base. Defensively, come in and be a guy that we trust over there. And there's guys like some of our NRIs that are probably going to play first base in spring training that have done it in the past, but we're trying to build a few guys that can kind of play a lot of different positions. And first base, we'll try it out and see what happens. DH, at the current time, we've got a lot of guys that are competing for that spot. Obviously, Song is one of those guys we signed that could fit into that role. But it's probably a spot that we're going to keep open throughout the season. To be able to give Manny a day DHing, Xander a day DHing, Fernando, Laureano, Merrill. I think it's a strategic way to keep those guys a little fresher during the season. Do we have somebody that's like, this guy's the DH? No, we don't have that right now. But we've got a lot of competition in spring training. It's going to be fun to see. Yeah, right now Campy's, probably the leading candidate to be one of the 2 catchers that we'll have on the roster when we break camp. He's done nothing but prove himself in AAA. I don't know what else he could do in El Paso that could, get him ready to be playing in the major leagues. And I think what he's needing right now is just an opportunity. And one thing that he and I have is he caught me, when he came up. And we had those talks about what it's like with a rookie catcher and a veteran pitcher. And at that time, I'm not thinking that this is going to happen later on in life, but I was able to put my arm around him and say, hey, I got you, man. We'll get through this together. And so we're doing the same thing right now. And I'm kind of excited about him having the opportunity to have a really good chance of making the team and being a part of our ball club and being someone that's going to, give us a super big advantage at the catching position and at the plate, too.
Is first base an option for him to use
He played first base a little bit last year. I know you probably saw him walk around the field at first base. He didn't play first base, I don't think, in the big leagues last year. Played it in AAA. For me, he's a catcher, and that's where we see his biggest value. Is that something we try down the road? Maybe. But at the moment, he's going to catch a lot. You'll see him a lot in spring training catching. And then we also value his bat, too. Talking about the DH, like Campy could get some DH bats also.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen earlier today with the media, and there was a ton in that clip. There was a lot.
There was.
So Luis Campusano going to be the second catcher on the roster this year.
I knew that was the hope, but he's not the second catcher if he goes 0 for 24 the first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
he's
Craig
still going to
Stammen
have to
said
do
it.
some things.
He said it. Well, what else can he do in AAA? Nothing. But he hasn't done anything at the big league level yet.
No, so they're going to have to get something from him, and I'm confident they will. Right? I had him in the All-Star game last year. I just had him in the wrong level.
Yes, you did
for the All-Star game.
You did predict that.
The other thing that's interesting, you talk about Sheets first base. Agree, think it's a good, solid move, and Sheets proved he can hit lefties. So you get a bigger power threat playing a corner infield spot. You get a bigger target that Craig Stammen talked about and people don't think about. Arise, whatever, is not big, not tall. So it's a smaller target for Bogarts and Manny from all the way across the diamond. So that is important.
Yeah, that is important.
But the other part, though, I wonder if a first baseman can be signed in free agency, that I still think that could change. I think that's the way it is today.
Yes.
But if they signed a DH who plays first base or they sign a first baseman, let's just say Paul Goldschmidt ends up becoming, affordable and available and wants to play here, then, Sheets go back out and visit his spot on the left field wall that he ran over last year. It's one of my favorite moments of the whole year, by the way.
It was,
when
but
he
it was
crashed
scary
the wall.
at the time.
A little scary at the time.
And then he
but
made it back into the lineup.
I love Gavin for that. But,
I do too.
So yeah, I don't know that that's done deal. Craig Stammen, to me, smart, but he's announcing his lineup and roster based on exactly what he has right this minute.
Yeah, so obviously, as you said, things can change. To highlight your point about him hitting left-handed pitching, Gavin Sheets, last year, or pre-2025 career OPS versus lefties, 557. 2025 OPS versus lefties at 669, which was a career high.
Yeah.
So
that's doable as long as you go 850 against righties.
Then you're in the 700s.
Then you're in the 700 club, and that's where you want your first baseman, at least to be there. So yeah, I like it. I mean, Campusano, my fingers are crossed. I think everybody, should be rooting for this guy because why? He's on our team. He's our catcher. So why are you going to root against him? I know a lot of people.
It's the age-old tale,
right? People say, "Well, I told you can't do it." Well, what are you
Were you
even
hoping for that?
Right? Yeah. What are you hoping he can't do it? I mean, if he's on the team and he comes up with the bases loaded, do you want him to strike out? I mean,
I think some people do.
There's a
just to be right.
I don't want to use the worst, but it's kind of that perverse way that we all think. Unfortunately, that negative thing.
But negative thoughts.
Yeah. So I told you a couple weeks ago, I think the roster is not this because the Dodgers signed Tucker and Diaz, and the Padres basically have added Song.
Yes.
People say, well, it's been a terrible offseason, and ESPN or somebody gives them a D- and say that. But the Padres already have a good team to begin with. So, people forgot about that, I think, a lot this offseason. And, right now you got an all-star third base, you got an all-star shortstop, you got an all-star at second base, you got an all-star in center fielder, and you got an all-star right fielder.
Yes.
That's 5 all-stars, right?
Yeah.
Out of your everyday 9. And how many pitchers? Pavetta's an all-star?
Yeah.
Did he ever make it last year? I think they left him off.
No, he wasn't an all-star
right,
last year.
But he should have been. King's definitely an all-star. Musgrove's an all-star.
Uh-huh.
And then you go with, Mason Miller, Jason Adam. These are all-stars, right? So it's not like this team has nothing. They have a lot just as they are right now.
So another pitcher that could maybe crack the rotation at some point, Chris, we have David Morgan's parents came by to say hi. They're massive fans of the show. They listen all the time.
I love them.
So they came over and they introduced themselves, and they were like, we are massive fans of the show. David Morgan's our son. And really, we do fully believe that David Morgan at some point this year could start some games.
I would personally love that.
I would too.
I picked him up last year, and my crazy.
You still have him?
Oh, yes. I would not give him up because he's a $1 player. That is invaluable.
Yeah.
And I
In your
love,
league.
yes. And when David Morgan would come in last year and do the job, which he did almost every time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, this is, tremendous. So he became a starting pitcher. This guy can get people out. I love watching David pitch, and he's fearless, right? They brought him in there in some really tough spots, and he did the job. And you know what? He took his lumps a couple times.
He did.
But then he would come back and show that he could handle it. That's important, too. Like, I would almost rather have a guy coming into this season who took some lumps and learned how to handle it rather than somebody just never was in trouble. Because you're always going to eventually
you have to face adversity at some point.
Have some adversity, and I think David Morgan learned a lot about that last year too. So that's another, it's a really good point. I mean, he could start, and just think you could start him, and you really wouldn't even hardly miss him because
you already have a bullpen.
Your
full
bullpen
of
is
guys.
so deep to begin with.
Mudcat taught me this on TV. You always look at the number of innings pitched for a pitcher, and then you look at their strikeouts. If they have the same or more strikeouts than innings pitched, they're a pretty good pitcher. David Morgan, 50 strikeouts, 47 innings pitched.
So when Chris Ello was at San Diego State and it was like 80 innings and 12 strikeouts.
You were a contact guy.
That meant I wasn't very good, according to Mudcat.
I heard you were a ground ball pitcher. I was not a ground ball pitcher.
I was a hard ground ball pitcher. They hit them hard ground balls off me, but luckily it normally came at somebody, so I was okay. But yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just think I just want to reiterate. I think it's a much better roster, than people think. And a lot of times, if you don't get meaningful additions in the offseason, people think your team's going to be lousy. And I just, that's not accurate when it comes to the Padres, because I think they have a good team. I mean, how many All-Stars did I just name? 12?
I mean, I don't know about 12, but a lot.
Yeah, so they should be fine.
Let's finish up with the Randy Vasquez conversation, because we got just a couple minutes left here at Padres Fan Fest 2026. Randy Vasquez has gotten better each year with the Padres. 2024 ERA 4.87, 62 strikeouts. 2025 3.84, 78 strikeouts. In 2026, Chris, his ERA almost went down an entire run from 2024 to 2025. What kind of impact does he just need to do the same thing, or does he need to step it up and maybe go a little bit deeper into games? Obviously, get the walks under control. You don't want him to be a traffic cop this year if he wants to keep that fourth spot.
I thought he got the walks down, right, the second half of the season.
He was much better.
I'd have to look at it officially, but it seemed like, he went from 4 or 5 walks a game to 2 or 3. So I thought he was bringing that down. And I just thought, this is my own opinion, I never thought Mike Schilt trusted him last year, and I think it affected the way he pitched a little bit. I
don't disagree.
It's not a blame thing. It's just that he would get into the 5th inning and somebody would get a hit and they'd have the bullpen up and he'd be out of the game. And that just happened time and time again. And I know Tony correctly said, hey, he hasn't earned the right. But at some point, you got to give him the chance to earn the right.
You have to let him walk before they...
I think so.
Or crawl before they walk.
So anyway, I think Vasquez, you give him a little leeway, and then look, if he hangs himself, okay, you pull it back in. But
you tried it. You gave him some leeway.
I think you've got to give him a chance to go 6 innings, because when he's throwing strikes, he's hard to hit, because that ball is, not straight. It's moving all over the place. So
here's his first half versus second half.
All right.
19 starts in the first half for Randy Vasquez, or 19 games, 46 walks. 9 games, so obviously a lot less.
Right.
Only 6 walks.
9 games, only 6 walks. So that he really brought it down.
46.
So he really brought that down.
His strikeout to walk ratio, first half, 1 strikeout for every 1 walk. Then it went 4.67 strikeouts for every walk. So he did something. The adjustment worked.
But if you look at the games that he pitched, it was still 4 1/3, 4 1/3, 4 2/3.
Yeah.
I mean, they just wouldn't let the guy get into the 5th or 6th inning, and I thought that affected him. So
I think it was against the Dodgers where he was pitching well and Ohtani was coming up, and then they were like, get out of there, and everything unraveled from there. So I'm looking to see at the end of the year. At the end of the year, he had some. In his last 5 starts, he at least started 6 innings 3 times. But you're right. Throughout the most of the year, it's 4 1/3. It's 4 2/3. It's if he gets past 5 innings, it's because he's like throwing no hit ball or something like that. Oh, do you hear that music, Chris?
I heard it a while ago, but I was going to let you talk
I didn't even
forever.
hear it until now. All right, that's it for us here at Padres Fan Fest. Thank you, Chris, for rushing over here to be here. Thank you to our guy Kyle back on the board. And thank you to Adam Klug. Thank you to Sammy Lev, Tony Gwynn Jr., everybody. We'll be back Monday.
And the two Jakes.
And the two Jakes.
That would be a good name for a movie. It was used for a movie already.
Oh, okay. We could do a podcast called The Two Jakes.
MVP contender Drake May and Sam Darnold will make their first Super Bowl appearances in Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. 97.3 The Fan will have all of the festivities beginning at 10 a.m. on Super Bowl Sunday. The NFL plays here on